That clock is ticking. Clock says it's after 11, and you know what that means. Yes, it's time for your favorite show and mine, Countdown to Armageddon. And I'm your host, Publius. And today's topic is something that's been annoying me for a while. You ever notice that when Obama became president, we spent the next 8 years, hearing how he was handed everything wrong. Everything was so messed up. Basically, he spent 8 years blaming Bush for everything that went wrong. When Trump became president, and people would point out, well, he's fixing what Obama did. Well, no, you can't keep bringing up Obama. Obama's not in office no more. Now we have Biden in office. And Biden's excuse for everything is, well, I'm trying to fix what Trump did. Trump messed everything up. The one area that I'm looking at this excuse in so prevalently is immigration, and particularly dealing with illegal immigration. I'm going to point that out very quickly, because contrary to what one side is saying, we're not looking at an immigration problem. We're looking at an illegal immigration problem. Operative phrase there, illegal. The Biden administration and even Nancy Pelosi is saying all this is Trump's fault. He's the one that did this. He broke the system. No. What do you mean, system? It's illegal immigration. There's no system for it. That implies that there is a proper way to do this. There's no proper way to be illegal. If you're going to do it properly, then it's no longer illegal immigration. It's called getting in line, waiting your turn, and coming in like you're supposed to. Now, there are a lot of people in line. A lot of people from south of the U.S. border, are in line, waiting their chance to get a visa to come into the United States. A lot of Mexicans and people from Central America and South America are waiting. They're the system. Trump didn't mess that up. Trump didn't do anything with it. Although I take that back. He did make some changes in that part of the system too. The changes he made is, number one, no chain migration. But just because one person gets in doesn't mean they get to bring every member of their family afterwards. Number two, that the people that come in actually should be able to support themselves. What this means is we don't import a slave class. We don't import a destitute class that has to be supported by the government. Those are the changes he made to that system. But that's not what's being talked about in reality. If you look at what everybody's complaining about right now, it's the crisis on the southern border. And I'm going to use the word that the Biden administration is afraid to use. Crisis. Why? Because it's a disaster. We're looking at the projected to reach the highest level of number of illegals entering this country, the highest level in 20 years. That's mind-boggling. Looking at this, we see a couple facts that are coming out. They're looking at right now having almost 100,000 minors. And we're not talking people that dig in the ground. We're talking about children. Why? Because Biden has basically said, come on over. And this is not my opinion. This is what, every time, any chance that a reporter gets to talk to these people, which is very rare because Biden's put a block on this, they're not allowed to talk to the press. Border Patrol agents aren't allowed to talk to the press anymore, because they might actually say something that embarrasses Biden, like the fact that it's his fault. And it is his fault, because these illegals, when they're questioned, what do they say? Biden said we could come in. Biden's going to let us in. Biden's going to let us in. They even wear t-shirts that says Biden let us in. Or the other things that we're hearing from them is, well, as long as I brought my kid, Biden said he would let me in because I have my children with me. We have so many people so many children that have crossed the border. The detention facilities for them have already, there's more than we have room for. We're opening tents back up. We're opening the temporary detainment facilities. And there, recently a photograph came out of kids sleeping basically one next to the next one, packed in like sardines. Some of them on mattresses, some of them not on mattresses, with their emergency blankets wrapped around them. So much so that even I sat back and said, this is sad. This is wrong. And it is wrong. And it is very sad. And the problem with all of this is the first person that should be in trouble for all this is their parents. You don't send your kids out on a trip across a country to get into another country. You don't do it. You have no idea if your child is going to make that trip. Every one of these parents should be tracked down and punished. They risk their children's lives. Their daughters could end up finding themselves forced into prostitution rings. Child slavery and human slavery is not something that's a myth. It's real. And they're going to take, these human smugglers will get a hold of these kids and they'll take them and they'll force them into slavery. And sadly, a lot of that's going to be sexual slavery. And whose fault is that? Well, I'll tell you right now, the first person to blame is, of course, their parents. The second person to blame, Joe Biden. Why? Because even today, as the system is breaking, his people are coming out and saying, the border's closed, but we're still going to let all the kids in. You don't get it, man. To put it in your terms, Biden, come on, man. Don't you get it when you tell people it's okay to come, they come? Don't you get it when you tell people, hey, we're going to treat you more humanely, we're going to do things nicer, that they realize this is an opportunity to get in? Your whole approach to illegal immigration is wrong. You're hurting people. Now you're also hurting the American people. How do you say this? Why do I say this? Number one, anywhere from 10 to 50% of these people are testing positive for COVID. So who's going to pay that bill, Joe? Oh yeah, that's right, the American people. And all these kids they're going to need support. Kids don't get jobs unless they're hooking. So where's that money going to come from? Oh yeah, the American people. And all these illegals that come here claiming amnesty, and not amnesty, but asylum, we pay them too. So Joe, you're doing a good job of making sure that the American budget is going to get broken. And who pays for all this, Joe? The American public. The citizens of the United States pay for this. We pay and pay and pay. And you're making it harder and harder and harder. You're making sure that budgets are going to break. All because you say you care. Well, I'm sorry, you don't really care if you're encouraging kids to sneak hundreds and thousands of miles and then try to sneak across the border. That ain't caring. You're risking their lives. Every year, hundreds of illegal aliens die. And that's when they're not coming over in such huge amounts. Who do you really care about, Joe? The kids that are sleeping so close to each other? Those same kids that have reported rapes, physical abuse, sexual abuse from their fellow inmates, from the guards, from whomever. You're not helping anybody, Joe. The United States cannot become the world's depository for all their problems. We can't afford it. We can't afford all the other programs that you want, Joe. So, who are you helping? You're helping your ego, and all you're doing is furthering the Orange Man bat. Well, Orange Man didn't have the problem on the border, you do. He shut that down quick and let everybody know, no, we have laws. You will obey them or you won't get in. Well, you have to care about these people because they live in regimes where people are beating and abuse them. Yeah, some of them do. And then all they have to do is apply for immigration as a refugee and do this the right way. You don't show up and say, I'm in here, take me. Why? Because that's wrong. That's not going through the system. You want to talk about a broken system? You're demolishing the system. And all those people that have been waiting have to wait longer and longer and longer because you don't care about the system. I'm tired of hearing Democrats blame Trump for their mistakes. Trump didn't do this. Biden did it. Admit it, move on. Stop trying to sugarcoat what you're doing. Stop trying to pass the buck. And stand up and say, I did it. I shot my mouth off when I shouldn't have. But we'll never see that. What we'll see is for the next 4 years, everything that's wrong will be Trump's fault. Just like for the last 4 years, everything was Trump's fault. Face it. Everything that goes wrong in this world has to be the fault of a Republican because the Democrats never take the blame. And if you believe this, you're an idiot. Folks, this country is really, really in trouble. Our southern border is a disaster. It's a humanitarian crisis. It is so out of hand down there that Biden has had to send FEMA. Now think about this. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is called in for natural disasters and other problems, major problems that the government knows will be there in at least 3 weeks and still be significant. Why? Because it takes about 3 weeks for FEMA to get anywhere, to set up. So Biden is admitting that the border is so screwed up that he had to call out FEMA, and knowing that FEMA won't get there and get set up for 3 weeks. Now it gets worse. We now have heard that a second stadium is going to be used to house illegal immigrants. A second stadium. They already took Texas Stadium, filled it full of illegals. Now I understand they're taking a stadium in Arizona. You have cities and counties declaring states of emergency because of the number of illegals. And the fact that the Biden administration has basically opened the floodgates. I mean, I heard somebody say the other day, at this rate, we might as well just send the military south, take over every country, all the way to South America. Take it all over. If they're going to send us all their people, we might as well take it all over and straighten it out. Maybe we can spread these people out better. All I know is that we can't afford this. We don't know who's coming in. We can't afford this because we can't keep up with the number of sick. You thought we had a bad year last year with COVID? Think about the millions of people coming north that are sick. And they're not being stopped and quarantined. They're being processed and sent forward and sent out as quick as they can. Yeah, that's great. And meanwhile, when they do hit the detainment center, while they're waiting to move on out and about, they're taking and infecting everybody around them, so that basically you've got a plague moving. All because Biden doesn't know how to shut his mouth. All because Biden cares, or supposedly cares. Folks, we're screwed. We are screwed. This is going to cost the U.S. people billions, if not trillions of dollars. All because some misguided idiots in Washington. Well, folks, that's my show for the day. Short, sweet, to the point. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you don't like it, And those of you that do enjoy the show and want to keep seeing it, subscribe. If you want to support us, go ahead and support us through the channel. And remember, what I say, it's my opinion. You don't have to agree. You can disagree. If you do agree, I appreciate you. If you disagree, and you want to disagree in a respectful manner, then great, we can talk. Otherwise, you all have a wonderful day, and have a great week. Thank you.